Not that.
009.
Good evening, judges and the lovely audience. Is India leaking? That was the topic. I mean, that was what was screaming from the walls when I entered the auditorium. And very dramatically presented. It was abstract, but with a very deep meaning. I mean, I've never seen abstract paintings with such deep meanings, hinting at you at what they want to portray. DCNs who really created this, Vinay Prasad, hats off to all of you, because this is really wonderful. And the picturization of the bars in front, it portrayed what I felt was, it looked like the creativity was being barred behind, the bars. Well, is that the case? Is youth, the yuva, not being able to express themselves? Is there a ban on their creative expression? Probably maybe in colleges, but when you come out, once you're postgraduates, once you're out in this world, does your creative expression suffer a ban? Do you have to think twice before you express yourself? Well, there were a myriad of ideas that was being portrayed. There was the Facebook, which was described as the Facebook or the lazy book. And then there was the increasing petrol prices, the food prices. We had a lot of leaders being portrayed there. We had Abdul Kalam and Anna Hazare. And so, when you look at the pictures, when they hint out to you that a deeper meaning, a revolution which is breeding beneath the youth, beneath the serenity that they portray outside, beneath the casualness and the coolness that they portray outside, there is a revolution breeding within them. They want to be reborn with more freedom to express themselves, to live the way they wish. And moving on to all the the pictures, there was one which showed Revolution 2020, and the tagline was more what was hitting out more. It said, "Love, corruption, and ambition." Something to think on, something to chew on. Love, corruption, and ambition. Very common. Love, we fall in love. And then when do we get corrupted? Don't we have ambitions? Is the ambitions the one which makes us corrupted? How can anyone make use of these stairs? I mean, that is one really cost-effective way of making use of the staircase and putting it not where where the person steps, but where they really look, and when they have to really look before they take a leap. It's like looking before you leap. Think before you leap. That is what the idea was. Well, the way it is being organized here, it's definitely lives up to that name, youth, and the rise of them and how they portray themselves so very well. In I think DCNs, there are a lot of event managers, if I have to look at the events which have been happening out here. Event managers and best managers, the people who organize this itself are the best managers more than ours. So a big congrats to them too. And well, at auditorium, there are pictures of Che Guevara which have been drawn twice and thrice. I feel, there is something more to it that they wanted to talk through their pictures. Che Guevara is the best portrayal of a revolution which you can bring about. And trying to put his pictures twice or thrice would definitely want to underpin the message that yes, we are looking forward to something revolutionary. Every single headline which we would have seen of importance. Thank you.
Meghna, what have you tried depicting on your face? What does the picture shows?
Yeah, well, that is a butterfly that my partner wanted to portray on my face. This is my idea of having a butterfly.
What does it say?
Pardon, ma'am?
No. Was there any thought behind that butterfly or just like that?
There were lovely colors out there, and I felt nothing better than a butterfly to express the colors.
Hi, Meghna.
Yes, sir.
You were working with a company in between as an HR officer, right?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me something about your experience as an employee there before doing this MBA course? I mean, can you just elaborate in a few words?
Well, I was a fresher right from Birla University, finished my BBM, and 1 week after my graduation, I got this job. I was the youngest member on board, and they welcomed me really well. Well, about my experience, I had it was a kaleidoscopic experience because they didn't put me in HR solely. I had to deal with commercial, a bit of accounts, and the IT too, when if you look at it. So there was a lot of things. It was not purely HR, it was into admin, HR and all the others. So it gave me an experience of what actually happens out there. So it's easier for me to evaluate what happens, and it gave me a little bit of independence in sort of decision making and the like.
What is the function that you would want to get into after your MBA?
Well, I'm looking at HR again.
HR?
Yeah.
So, just a question. You are a manager, you've got a team, and for one particular project, you can choose just one team member from your team. So, what would be the quality that you would be looking at in that person?
I would be looking at a person with the right attitude.
Okay.
Yeah, because once that is set right, everything falls into place. So someone with the right attitude, the ability to be flexible, proactive, and learn something new and imbibe it in their daily activity, that would be someone I would be looking at.
Is work-life balance really happening in the workplace? The work-life balance. I have seen a project has been done by you.
Yes, sir.
Sometime during your MBA,
Yes.
BBA.
Yeah.
So is that balance happening, or is it in an imbalanced situation? How is it? What was the result of your study?
Well, it was there were two factors in that. How a work-life balance would come about in an organization or for an individual would be on their individual. It would depend on the individual as well as on the company. The company could have favorable policies which should adequately allow them to function from their house, as well as the individual should be in a mode to adjust themselves and...
when employees work extended hours, how is this balance possible? Now MBAs, fresh MBAs are into the field, and you are now going to work from 10 to 5. It could be 10 to 12, 10 to 10, whatever. Your employer's choice, actually, this is going to be. So how are you going to manage balance? I mean, is it really possible?
It is really possible if you have flexible working hours.
No,
and
you're not going to have flexible working hours wherever you go.
No, it's not it's not wherever you go. But if you ask me a question of how to achieve a work-life balance,
tell me a profession where you can have this kind of flexi work hours and on your choice, of your choice.
No, that would come as a company policy. So a strong HR.
Tell me a place. You are an HR officer, or you want to be in HR.
Yes.
Then how are you going to give your employees this kind of a flexi atmosphere? How is it going to be going to happen in your office? How is it possible actually?
Well, in
practicals and how is it possible?
It was possible in our office because we had the marketing department and the the commercial department and the marketing department. They had flexi working hours. And absolutely, they had the freedom to work from
So if you're
the
working
house.
in a company which doesn't have a policy of flexi working hours, what will you do in terms of employee work-life balance?
Well, it would depend on the rest of the policies that we would adapt. Well, it doesn't mean that we should penalize them for working for 12 hours or how many hours?
It's a penalizing for somebody working for 12 hours?
No, it's not in terms of conditions like the weather conditions too. You have to...
I was working in an AC company, a company within the office, in-house work, where they don't have a market work and they actually need to slog for a longer duration of time.
Well, I was in the manufacturing sector, so we had to keep running to the factory for...
I'm talking about a IT sector.
IT sector, yeah. IT sector could have flexi working hours. That would depend on how well they coordinate.
The company in which you are working now doesn't have it.
Okay.
So what do you do?
Well, it wouldn't matter then too. As long as you could finish your work and then you could find free time, I think that would help you in the long run.
The question was, as a HR person, what is the points that you can do in terms of making a better work-life balance in a company which is an IT sector in which you are working?
An IT sector company where there should be flexible working hours, yeah.
It's not there in the policy. What else?
Okay, it's not there as a policy, so then probably some incentives or sending them on some assignment which gives them time to go outside and see the world, that could be also an option. They could be sent for conferences, they could be sent for workshops, for training programs. So that allows them to be away from office.
So as a HR manager in your team, there's one girl who's come for the interview. You find her absolutely good in terms of attitude, which you would be looking at, right? So absolutely good in terms of attitude. She is what, 24 years age, not married. Will you take her, not take her?
I would take her.
Will you take her?
Yeah.
So and another 6 months time her marriage is getting fixed and she needs to go abroad. What would be your advice to her, or what would be that you would be talking to her?
Well,
6 months, she's a fresher,
Okay.
just got into your team.
Yeah.
She's planning for her marriage. Her would-be husband
Yeah.
is abroad.
Okay. So, well, we have a company abroad too, so we could place her there. So she has this flexible option of working with us or working abroad in our company.
Thanks.
Tell me, two CEOs who are contemporary CEOs, one from India and one from abroad, and compare their qualities. Any two CEOs of your choice with their managerial style.
One from India.
One from abroad.
Okay. I would opt for Narayan Murthy and Steve Jobs.
Okay, what are the qualities differentiate these two greats, and what are the qualities attracted you to them, or some kind of qualities which you've seen something different from others?
Well, what I feel different, okay, generally what attracted me towards them. Steve Jobs was a man who had, what I felt was he had crazy ideas and he went about implementing them. It's not that Narayan Murthy didn't have dreams, but the amount of aggressiveness was more in Steve Jobs. And Narayan Murthy was more of a sobered down, mild-mannered, a matured individual who was with his employees and who took care of his employees. Steve Jobs didn't do it, but the way they worked, it was totally different. He was a more radical version.
But who created a bigger organization?
Well, in terms of, it would be Steve Jobs.
So I missed your last point. Do you think Steve Jobs is a better manager or Narayan Murthy?
Well, that's difficult. Given their circumstances, both are good managers.
Who's a better people manager?
A better people manager would be Narayan Murthy.
Why? Why not Steve Jobs?
Why not Steve Jobs? Because he's had spit outs with his counterparts and people who started the company with him. So
whom do you think was the most successful manager?
Well, success again is a perceptional difference which I would have, but I am more biased towards Steve Jobs.
Okay.
You say success is a perception.
Yeah,
Can you explain
how we measure success, how we success. I mean, how we see.
I don't think success is perception. Success can be seen. Success can be felt.
Yes.
Perception is something different.
Yeah, but it varies on an individual perceptional level.
Is it so?
Yes. What I would want as my success on a short-term goal would be to see myself being a rank holder and winning every management fest I go. So that would be my success. But for another person of my my batch, that success wouldn't be that. Success would be to come out of the college, graduate, get a good job.
That is on the individual side, but
Yes.
when it comes to business, it is not perceptional.
Yeah.
It will be seen. It will be evaluated by others.
Yes.
So how can it be perceptional when it comes to business?
Okay.
Success, it cannot be a relative term also sometimes. It's an absolute term, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I agree with you on that.
No, which Apple or Infosys? Which do you think is employer of choice?
I would say Apple.
Employer of choice?
Pardon, ma'am?
Employer of choice of the employees.
Yeah. Well, who wouldn't want to miss a chance working in Apple?
Audience, good evening.
Good evening.
As a future HR leader, when you get an opportunity to perform, what are the 3 qualities or 2 qualities you think which is very important as a HR leader?
3 qualities.
Just 2 qualities that is required.
Well, performance on basis of work performance.
Whatever.
No, I need to just know your question clearly.
Well, as a HR leader,
Yeah, yes.
you know what would be the job description of
Yes.
that role.
Yeah,
So
right.
what do you think would be the two qualities of that job?
Well, first would be the people skills. You
Mhm.
need, yeah, people skills would be what an HR leader should definitely have. Well, the other would be the right amount of assertiveness and without being termed as aggressiveness.
Don't you think that listening and interaction with your co-workers is important? Because
Yeah.
as a HR manager, you should listen more to people, because people come with you with concerns, problems and all.
Yeah,
So what do you have to say about
Yeah,
that?
that is what I generalize under the people skills. The listening, the ability to interact with them, understand them, motivate them, and lead them onto the right path. That I
Okay.
would generalize under the people skills.
Okay. You said attitude. How you describe it?
Well, attitude, you want me to define it, or
Yeah, you said right attitude for right job. So what do you define?
how I would see it is that the right attitude for job, like I described earlier, you need to have a certain amount of a conscience within you, and then the flexibility, the ability to be flexible, and at the same time stick on with what you believe is right. That would be what an attitude would, for me, how it would be defined as.
All right. Thank you.
But
See, I would like to know, like, what is your contribution as a management student, as a citizen of this country, as a good family member? What is your contribution to your family, to your society, and to your nation?
contribution of myself to my family, society.
Not to yourself,
Huh?
to your family, to your society, and to your nation.
Okay, that's a large question to ask. To my family, what a family would need would be a daughter who carries the name and pride of the family. And up till now, I believe I've kept up that hope and belief of my parents and lived up to their expectations. So that living up to parents' expectations is a little hard. And once understanding them and living up to their expectations is what I've done. And now to the society, society and nation, I would take it together because...
See, actually, the thing is that, most of every time you need not be living up to their expectations.
Yeah.
Sometimes things may go different.
Yeah.
So what would be, how will you take up a decision at that moment?
Well, all decisions would be taken conjointly with consultation with them, and once it is not going to be aligned with them, I would want to change myself and rethink over why my decision is
So
wrong.
that means you don't have a character of yourself. You can't take your own
That doesn't
decisions.
mean I do not have the character of myself. That means I respect what my parents say and I try to follow
Respecting and doing what you like. Both are of two different things.
Yeah,
right?
respecting and trying to show them my perspective. But if they show their kind of their expectations and their point of view, and if it is from it comes from their umpteen number of years of experience. So if when they say something is wrong, I need to take it as
see, actually, a lot of parents today believe, okay, like, you have to work a lot in academics. Extracurricular activities doesn't matter much.
Yeah.
There are some parents who believe that, and because of which they don't let their children to participate in such kind of management events. And we, on the lucky ones, we are allowed to do that. So, thinking from those students' point of view, so don't you think that their life is being cut, being restricted as per in today's modern situation? So if you had such a parent, what would you feel? Living up to their expectations, would it be up to the mark? Will it be up to the competition of today?
Well, not participating in Management Fest wouldn't mean that I've been lost or I've been denied an opportunity. It's just that as my parents required, I've been up to mark in my academics. I think once I live up to their expectations in academics, I think they would automatically permit me to go to the fest and the other events as such. But society and country, it's on a very minute scale that I've been able to contribute. So I think down the lane, there would be more contribution from my side. So as of now, I would say I've been a good citizen and try to abide by the laws of this country.
Good evening.
Good evening.
In present Kerala, Santosh Pandit is a famous figure. Do you think Santosh Pandit as a good manager?
Well, the mere fact that he managed all the 18 work of his movie proves that he could manage even more.
What quality brings Santosh Pandit as a manager?
His confidence, and confidence. That's
What
what
about the negative market made by the Santosh Pandit?
Negative market exists for everyone. It's just that it's a media hype that we bring out the negatives of man who does it all along. Because even if you look at Wright brothers, when they started off, they were always ridiculed and there was always negativity surrounding them, but they succeeded, and I believe he's also a person to be looked out for.
As a manager, will you introduce negative market to a company or like that?
Well, I feel it's not ethical.
Okay, thank you.
Zaima from Farouk College.
Hi Meghna.
Hi, good evening.
While you were talking for the whole 10 minutes or so, I noticed something from the crowd. No one was paying attention to you.
Yeah.
Like everyone was bothered with their own stuff. So if you can't get the attention of this entire audience, how can you be a good manager?
Well, that is a nice observation which you made. Even I had made the same observation. Probably because they had 1 hour of a previous contestant and they are grilled with that. So now I think as the as the round goes on and now that they're being given chances, I think there's going to be more attention given to me.
Okay, let me just introduce. I have one manager sitting next to me on my right side.
Yes.
He's a manager who tells you that I'll fire 20% of my employees every year.
Yes.
And there's another manager sitting on my left. He will tell you, I don't care. He will never talk about firing. But he may not be giving you good incentives, but he doesn't care about firing his people. Who do you think is a better manager, or who do you think you would like to have as your HR manager?
Someone who would fire me.
Why?
Well, when I have a person like that with me, it keeps me alert, it keeps me on my toes, and I know I should not be making mistakes, which would upset my manager. So I would love to do the right things at the right time for the manager and the way he would want it.
Is it for the manager you are doing, or is it
well,
because
for the manager, for the company, the way he's prescribed it.
not because you want to do it?
Well, I would definitely want to do it. I wouldn't be wanting to do something against my will. So if I was to do it against my will, I would have walked out of the company. So since I want to stick with the company, I would do it the way it is required as per the company policies.
Okay, thank you.
You were saying something about Revolution 2020. What was that?
Pardon?
You were saying something about Revolution 2020 over that stage, right?
Yeah.
What was that?
Well, Revolution 2020, I was actually, the catchphrase which you put out there, that is what actually captured my attention. It made me think.
Somebody wrote that book. You know who's that?
Revolution 2020. Well, I am not aware, I'm sorry.
Chetan Bhagat. You don't know that?
No, I didn't, sorry.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.